Welcome back to another episode of Living in Memphis in the MidSouth. Today, I'm taking you on a historical journey of the history of the mortgage interest rate and why today might be an opportune time for you to buy a house. But stick around to the end so I can tell you exactly whose house is on the market for sale today. An iconic house here in the MidSouth area. You might want to own a piece of history. Stick around and see who owned this house. You could have it for under $500,000 right in East Memphis. I'll also give you a market update. So let's get into it. Let me help you make your Memphis dream a reality. So this is your first time channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Memphis in the Mid-South, tap that bell for notifications, hit the subscribe button, share the video, comment if you like it, drop me a note. I'm Amy Clark of Cry Like Realtors, your local go-to realtor for living in Memphis in the Mid-South. I get calls every day from people just like you ready to move into the area, whether it's in 9 days or 9 months. Just give me a call. I'll help you make your Memphis dream a reality. Now let's get into history of mortgage interest rates. To truly understand the history, we got to go all the way back to 1900. It was truly an endeavor to buy a house in the 1900s. In the early 1900s, you had to put 50% down, and then the bank only gave you 5 years to pay off your mortgage. That was it. It's a long time ago. We don't do that anymore. We're giving you 30 years, 15, 30 years to pay off your mortgage, and the interest rates are not at 50%. Currently, your mortgage interest rate is about 6.9%. So we'll get into what that 6.9% means today. We're going to get to that in just a few minutes. But what is a normal interest rate? Defining normal means what? It requires a look back 20, 30, 40 years ago. From the 1970s to 2025, a 30-year interest rate, the average is 7.72%. In the 1970s, when it was at around 7%, my mom and dad decided to buy a house. They had a little baby, a 2-year-old new puppy named Gumbo, new kitten named Herman, and they wanted to buy a house. We bought a house in Lafayette, Louisiana in the early 70s, and they thought they were gonna die paying a $27,000 mortgage. So that was, a lot more expensive, and the cost of living, everything changes, it raises. But a few short years later, in the 1980s, my mom and dad built a house on a piece of property. We've talked about that, and that builder that changed his name and moved out of the country. They bought their house on an 18% interest rate in 1980. So things do swing. As a national average for the past 50 years, it's 7.72%. That's an average. That means that today's interest rate is slightly lower than that at 6.8 or lower. And when you buy a house from a builder, a new builder, from the model home, and you buy a house from a builder, they're actually buying down interest rates. So that's a bonus. They're giving you money to pay for closing costs. They're giving you money for upgrades. They're buying down your interest rate. And you can actually get into a house at lower than the national average. So maybe 5.9% interest, something like that. So builders do buy down interest rates. So why is now still a good time to buy? Well, despite the uptick in interest rates, we had some really low, historically low interest rates that had never been seen before. Buyers got very attached to that. But despite that, it still remains below the national average to buy a house. So you can get a significantly lower rate than you could in the 1980s, that's for sure. Real estate has always been historically a strong hedge against inflation, with property values always appreciating over time, provided you take care of your house. Elderly people are the best at taking care of their house. They know what to do. They know when something breaks. They fix it right away. My elderly sellers are the best. They are on top of it. I saw one of my sellers. He was 88 years old. He was standing on a 2-story breezeway on a 9-foot ladder cleaning out a vent. I was scared to death. He was gonna fall 3 stories down to the ground. But in my experience, my elderly clients are the ones that take the best care of their houses. We could learn from them. So you buy at this interest rate and your house will appreciate, and you always have a chance to refinance your mortgage when the rates do drop a little bit. So that could save you hundreds of dollars over, thousands of dollars over the course of mortgage, but it could also save you from month to month a few dollars. But let's fast forward from here. Let's go backwards to the 1980s. It was a period marked by economic turbulence. Inflation was running rampant. The average 30-year fixed mortgage was 18.63%. The spike was primarily due to the Federal Reserve's aggressive measures to combat rampant inflation. So that was in October of 1981. That was the highest it's ever been. So on the contrast to that, in 2021, a silver lining for home buyers emerged out of the clouds. The pandemic's challenges, the Federal Reserve, they plummeted their rates to a record low of 2.65%, just in an effort to stimulate the economy so that we didn't go into a depression. So that's why they did that. And man, was it crazy with home buyers and sellers. It was something else. Those days are long gone, and those interest rates are never going to come back. It's never going to be as low as 2.25% again. So as of last week, in February 2025, the average interest rate was 6.89%. While it's a little higher than the unprecedented lows of 2021, it's a far cry from the 18% of the 1980s. You also have tax benefits when you buy a house. So your home ownership offers tax advantages, interest deduction. You can get, like in Mississippi, your homestead deduction, which is a tax break on your property taxes. In the market dynamics, entering the market now, you get your rates set. If the future rates decrease, you can refinance, but it will also save you from any increase in rates too. So it's always a good time to buy in the 5, 6, 7% interest rate. That's a very normal average time to buy a house. And owning a house is your personal investment. You can fix it up the way you want to. Owning a home provides stability, the opportunity to personalize your space, and the potential for long-term financial growth. Moreover, with the current inventory on the rise, we've seen more houses on the market lately than we have in a while. You have more inventory to choose from. Builders have caught up since the pandemic. They have houses ready to go that they're move-in ready right now. We can actually get you in a new house, within 30, 45 days. And with more houses being on the market, you're likely to find a house that will fit your needs. There's a few things I wanted to mention historically. In 1915, during World War I, wartime, the government put war restrictions into place. And in the Act of 1915, and it stopped from landlords exploiting the housing market. It put a rate block on interest rate hikes, and it also put a rent hike stop. So they couldn't increase interest rates and they couldn't increase your rent. What is an adjustable rate mortgage? Well, it allows you in a high interest rate time to have an adjustable rate. So if the rate hopefully goes down, your mortgage will adjust, your interest will adjust downwards. But sometimes the rate can adjust up. So it's kind of a dangerous situation, and you don't really want to do an adjustable rate. Always talk to your lender. Make sure you have all the information you need so that you get the best loan for you financially. But the adjustable rate mortgage was introduced in the 1980s just to give buyers relief from the 18% interest rate. And they got the ARMs and the adjustable rates just to make sure that they could adjust the rate down. That was the hope anyway, to adjust the rate down and not up to 19% or higher. Home buyers' common concerns. Let's go through this. What if the interest rates continue to rise after I buy a house? Well, you're protected. Your interest rate does not adjust, provided you didn't get an ARM, an adjustable rate mortgage. You got your 6.9, your 5.99%, you got that rate, and the rate goes to 8.5%. You are in your house, you're building equity, and your rate is not adjusting. It is staying right there. The next concern, are current home prices inflated? No, they're not inflated. The real estate market is cyclical, and while some prices have risen over the years, purchasing a home is a long-term investment. And over time, property values have historically gone up and appreciated, and building equity for homeowners. So, you're not going to buy a $27,000 house. It's not the 1970s. My first house cost $200,000. I thought I was crazy when I bought that. But my house has appreciated over the years. And so that's not, and it was something that we could afford at the time when we did it. And the next concern we have here, is it better for rates to drop before I buy? Like we've been discussing, historical rates, these are average normal rates. This is what's normal in society. This is what's normal in society for the past 50 years. The average rate is under 7%. So we're right there. This is normal, guys. It's not 2021. It's not super reduced interest rates, that's probably not going to ever happen again. But you can be assured that if you wait for the interest rate to drop, the house prices are still going to go up. They're still increasing in value every day. And timing the market can be very challenging. If you wait for rates to drop, the result may be limited inventory or higher prices. If you're financially ready to purchase a house, go ahead and do it. It allows you to start building equity and enjoying the benefits of homeownership and the tax repercussions, the tax benefits, not repercussions. Remember, everybody's situation is unique. Consult with a real estate advisor and a mortgage broker. Get what you need to personalize your buying experience and the rates you need. So I want to give you a market update. What is happening in Memphis and the Mid-South right now? So let's go to the North Mississippi market. So in January, the average sales price in North Mississippi, we're talking just about DeSoto County. So Olive Branch, Horn Lake, Mississippi, in Mississippi, South Haven, your average home price is $354,000. That is up by 2.5%, 2.13%. There are 720 houses ready to be sold right now with an average sales price of under $400,000. And that is up in the number of homes by almost 14%. So that's great. We're getting more houses on the market. And your average days for a seller to sell your house is about 115 days on the market right now. The buyers have more time. They can pick out the house. They can make negotiations. So that's what's happening in North Mississippi and what is happening in Memphis. Your average, this is the city of Memphis. This is not all the suburbs, but your average home price is $245,000. And that's up 12% over last year. So, and there are currently 3,441 houses on the market. And that is an increase of almost 4%. 3.68% increase over last year. So more houses are on the market. So everything is moving along to buy some houses. And your average day for a seller on the market is 94 days. So that is the current situation here in Memphis and the Mid-South. But let me get to my favorite thing. We have a house for sale in East Memphis. This is in the city proper. It's off of Walnut Grove, and it was once owned by Johnny Cash. So it has been completely renovated. It is under $500,000, and it is a single-story house, ranch-style house, and it is for sale right now as we speak. If you want to own a piece of history, go ahead and give me a call. I can help you buy Johnny Cash's old house. Thanks for watching my video. We've explored the history of mortgage interest rates and why today's rates aren't so bad. It may sound bad coming out of 2021, 2022. However, the enduring benefits of homeownership and your financial wealth that it builds and your increase in equity, tax advantages, and really personal fulfillment just to live in a house is all the benefits and why it makes now the best time to buy. Buy if you can, talk to a realtor, interview a few of them, get to know one, you must like that person, and then get a local lender to help you with the lending process. So if you found this video helpful, give me a comment, like and subscribe, tap the bell for notifications, and you'll never miss an update if you do all those things. Share this video for someone if they need to know about why they're gonna wait to buy a house until the interest rates drop down to 2% again. That is just not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. So thanks for following me on this very boring history interest rate. Thank you for joining me on this mortgage history journey. Let me make your Memphis dream a reality. Contact me, I'll get you in Johnny Cash's house.